Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Thank you very much for everyone who's come to join us today. I know it's a little bit early for this one, so we appreciate it. We've had some really good numbers registered for this webinar, so I think we're onto a good topic. The first thing I want to do is just make sure everyone can actually hear us. So if somebody wants to just pop into the Q&A box or the chat box to say that you can hear us, that would be terrific. Just want to introduce today's topic as well, which is the recipe for a great bookkeeping website. I think this is a very important topic, obviously, based on the number of registrants we've had for this particular website. I know a lot of people struggle with getting their head around how to build a good website. So just wanted to also introduce our host today, Practice Ignition and BizInc. My name is Brendan. I am from Practice Ignition. And we are also joined today by Anthea from BizInc, who will be taking us through how to build a great bookkeeping website. So do you want to say hi, Anthea, to everyone this morning?
Thanks, Brendan. Thanks so much for having us along.
That is not a problem at all. Glad to have you. And thank you for putting this together as well. I know I've got some good content coming up. I've had a little bit of a look at it already, which is cool.
Yeah, it's jam-packed this morning.
Excellent, excellent. So if you want to just pop into the next slide for me there, we just got a little bit of housekeeping before we kick off, all the fun stuff.
Oh, sorry, not included in this version, but
that's okay.
I was just going to mention there's a Q&A session at the end.
Pretty much that's all it is. The Q&A session is at the end. There is a little box that you can pop out within your Zoom webinar, and you should be able to actually put your questions into the question box there. What I might do is just make sure we can get that working now. If somebody wants to just test that question box, one of the attendees can just pop in a question or a yes or no. That'd be great. But we'll go through those at the very end of the webinar as well. Also, we'll have some resources to share at the end. We'll be recording this webinar, and we'll also be handing out a copy of the slides, I believe. Is that correct, Anthea?
Yeah, I can get you a copy of the slides. Also, we got a freebie for all attendees. We got a website audit, but I'll get to that at the end as well. So.
Ooh, sounds nice. Very cool. All right, well, that's it from me. Like I said, any questions, pop them into the question box. Getting a few coming in already, which is great. So over to you, Anthea.
Thanks so much. I just wanted to reiterate thanks from the BizInc team to Practice Ignition for having us along today. Today we'll be going through the recipe for a great bookkeeping website. So I thought I'd quickly just tell you a bit about me. I'm one of the marketing specialists at BizInc. I've worked exclusively with accountants and bookkeepers, helping them with their websites and their online marketing. So that's part of what we do at BizInc, helping accountants and bookkeepers look incredible online. But websites is just one part of that. So that's what we will be delving into today. So just a quick look at what we're going to cover. We'll start with the winning content structure. That's what we found from working on hundreds of bookkeeping websites. Then we're going to be talking about website essentials, those key ingredients, if you will. Then we'll be talking about design. It's probably not as important as you guys think. A lot of people do get really caught up with that. We're talking about simplicity and how important that is, especially given the amount of noise that's out there and the amount of messages that we're bombarded with every day. Then we'll be talking about how to turn visitors into clients. So this is really the magic part of this webinar. Often it's a problem for many businesses. They might get a ton of traffic to their website, but is that converting into clients? That's the important thing. Then we'll be talking about apps and add-ons. So those are just some little extras that can help take your website to the next level. And as we mentioned, there's going to be a questions section at the end. So hopefully what we'll cover today, we'll try and keep it fairly simple. Hopefully you're not thinking that it's too hard or too complex. You guys probably already know the winning content structure, and hopefully you've already got it on your site. But we know that many of you guys are just busy and just don't have the time. So BizInc can help you out with great bookkeeping websites. So I'll start today with talking about why you need a website. I hope that you all know that you need a website, but occasionally we do still get people in 2017 saying to us, well, I get all my business from referrals. I don't think I really need a website. And the answer is yes, you definitely do. And the first reason I'll give you is actually related to referrals. we would say that your website seals the deal with referrals. So if you think of a typical situation, one of your clients is talking to their friend, another business owner who's looking for a bookkeeper, and your name is mentioned. The first thing they're going to do is go to Google, and they're gonna search for you. They're gonna check out your website, and do some due diligence on you. So yes, you're right, probably most of your business will come from referrals, but your website plays a really important role in that. And the second reason you do need a website is that marketing, and online marketing in particular, is a great way to get you more leads. Search engines like Google can process something like 40,000 searches every second. Obviously not all of those are for bookkeepers, but some of them are, and some of them will be in your local area too. So if you don't have a website, you don't have an online presence, you don't exist as an option to those people searching in Google. And the last reason is for existing clients. Some of the best firms, some of the firms we've worked with, our clients, they use their website as a hub to work with their clients. So some of them might share documents, they might use it to share content. It becomes a really important part of their relationship with them, and it can actually help them to retain those clients. So we'll have a look at the winning structure now, starting with the homepage. The purpose of the homepage is to engage the visitor, to get them to dig deeper and to go further onto the website. So what you're trying to do with this page and the whole website really is to build trust and credibility. Trust and credibility is really why people would choose you over another bookkeeper. And that's the key thing to remember and to try and build when you're marketing your firm. But what I'm going to say here is, although your homepage is going to get a fair amount of traffic, and obviously it's quite an important page, probably will get the most traffic, I don't want you to put all of your focus on that. And the reason we say this is we've seen some firms put a huge amount of effort here, but then neglect other pages. So there's lots of things you can put on a homepage. Obviously you want some nice images, you want some content about yourself, but we don't want you to try and do everything. Don't try and tell the whole story of your firm and force too much content on that page. One thing you do need on your homepage though, and right throughout the website, is a call to action. So it's a little bit of a website jargon term. It's something on the website that encourages a visitor to do something. So common examples that you might know would be a buy now button, or download our free ebook, complete a form, or sign up here. Those are common ones you've probably seen. They turn people from just a visitor into someone engaged and getting in touch with you. And that's really important on the homepage, obviously, but it's also good to remember right throughout the site. And the reason for that is people are lazy online. They're not going to spend ages digging around looking for contact details. If you don't make it easy, you're probably going to lose them. And it's important to remember that your competitors are only a click away as well. If somebody is researching bookkeepers in your local area and they've got your site up, they're likely to have your competitor's site open as well. So just remember that. Some important ones, we'd say a phone number on every page as a bare minimum. You could also have like a book a meeting button or a live chat option, which we'll get to those later. But basically you just want to make it easy for people to get in touch with you in the way that they prefer, because some people like email, some people like phone, some people might just like a messenger chat option, but just make it easy for people. I'll give you an example now of what I mean. This is from one of BizInc's client sites. They've got a contact page there, they've got their phone number in the top, and then they've got a contact form on the front page. And this is 3 things even before you scroll down on the front page. I wanted to quickly jump in here with the PI web connector and show you how this how it integrates with on BizInc's site. So this comes standard on BizInc websites, this Practice Ignition web connector. So this is on one of our client sites called CChange. So if you need more information, I'm sure PI can help you out there. But basically, your prospects can come in, your clients can come into this where you've got your packages up on your site, and they can click through right there and then. So that's a pretty seamless integration, and that comes standard with BizInc websites. So I wanted to talk quickly about a team page, which is a great way to communicate your personality. Sometimes that can be kind of hard on an accounting or bookkeeping website, but an About Us or a team page is a really great way to do that. Sometimes it's 2 pages, sometimes it's 1. Maybe if you have a smaller firm or not a big team, it might just be a more personalized About Us page. So we'd say that this is the second most important page of the website. And that's because we did some research into our clients' web statistics, and we found that the team page was the second most viewed page on 90% of our clients' websites, the first being the home page, obviously. So that tells us that people want to see you. They want to see your team. We know that it's true in any form of business that people buy from people. And you guys, especially accountants and bookkeepers, you're in the relationship business. So the more you can humanize your website, the better. Use this page to convey your personality. So talk about your interests, your hobbies outside of bookkeeping as well. Typically people have a certain view of accountants and bookkeepers maybe being boring. So try and bring across your personality on this page if you can. We know obviously a lot of our bookkeeping clients are sole practitioners with maybe a small team, or some just working by themselves. So I'd just reiterate that About Us page, making it include some good photos of your team and make it quite personal. Write the content yourself, so it's in your language. And although it's about you, you should try and make it more about your clients as well, because people are interested in what's in it for them. They're not really bothered so much with the long history of your firm or mission statements or vision statements. They just want to know if they work with you, what's in it for them. So on this page, we'd avoid marketing language, kind of switches people off. Things like we are the leading firm or we are renowned. We see that on a lot of firms' websites, and it just seems like marketing language. We would recommend you get some good photos taken though. So that's better than stock images of people laughing at a spreadsheet or something like that. Get some good photos taken, no mugshots in the dark or anything like that. I thought I'd quickly show you a team page from one of our client sites in the US. So they've gone a bit differently and got these little caricatures created, which is really great. I think it's a really great point of difference for them. They get some great feedback on this page as well. So you might not do this exactly, but it could be a good option for you. Case studies and testimonials. Good feedback from clients is really powerful. It's a really powerful way to convince people to work with you as well. So testimonials are usually shorter. They kind of affirm your performance or your quality, but case studies usually go a bit more in depth, and they show real outcomes you've got for real businesses. And these case studies and testimonials, they give people a reason to believe you do what you say you do on the rest of the site. So it's a great way to demonstrate your value and demonstrate your expertise. So Wise Advice, they're one of BizInc's clients. They do this really well on their homepage actually. They've got some nice photos of clients. They've got even some videos there. And it's a really good point of differentiation as well. So I can include a link to their site in the email afterwards for you to check out as well. So I'm going to talk about services now. This is something I see a lot of bookkeepers and accountants. It's a place where they often go a bit wrong, because we'd recommend keeping this fairly brief, and often we can see multiple pages on websites full of technical descriptions and lots of words, long content blocks there that people don't really read. So it can just cause potential clients to switch off. So we'd probably limit this to 1 or 2 pages if you can. It's better than having those complex pages full of technical descriptions of what you do. And the reason we'd say this is most prospects, most business owners, they don't actually know what they need. So they might know they need a bookkeeper, but the things you can really help them with, the things that are really going to be valuable to them, they often don't know, and you really only find that out when you have that conversation with them. So remember, the main purpose is to get a conversation started, and don't let a huge technical list get in the way of that. I'd also say on that page, avoid jargon. and right throughout the website actually. Jargon is always a mistake in marketing, so just use very basic language. It's best to use case studies and testimonials to show those outcomes that you've gotten for a client rather than on this page really. So we'll talk about content and blogging. So far I've tried to say to keep the content simple, no technical descriptions or long bits of content, but one place you might add a bit more depth would be on your blog. So content that people want to read about is content that speaks to their pain points. So at BizInc we call that expert content, and it can be really beneficial. If somebody comes to your website and they see that you're writing about their pain points, then that's likely to resonate with them. It's likely to build trust if they see that you're writing about things that are real to them and that they're experiencing in their business. That's likely to resonate with them. So business advisory content is good. We'd recommend avoiding kind of like compliance or tax content. People aren't really interested in reading about that stuff. That's why they're hiring you to know about that stuff. So we'd recommend using your blog to show your personality, to differentiate yourself, and to keep your site updated. It's really great for that. So if you don't want to write that stuff yourself, you can obviously hire like a freelance writer, or you can speak to specialist companies. So BizInc do offer a business booster blogging service, which is something you can probably get done for probably cheaper than you think. So that's worth checking out as well. Other types of content you could have on your site, I'll just quickly mention partner content. So this is something we have on BizInc sites as well. So you might be a Xero advisor or QuickBooks certified or something like that. You could have a page on your site with information about their products and how you can help. Maybe you offer training. Then that's a good way to reassure prospects that you're reputable as well. They know you're certified in this software that they've been using, and that could help to build that credibility, which I mentioned at the start is so important. So the contact page. This is an essential, but I have seen websites without it. So please have a contact page. But as I mentioned, you don't want this to be the only way for people to get in touch with you. You want to give people lots of ways, as I mentioned with the calls to action previously on every page. So on this contact page though, I'd recommend having your email and phone number as a bare minimum, as an essential. Have a contact form, and the reason for that is it's much easier to send a message from a mobile. If they're viewing your contact page on a mobile device, contact form's probably the way to go there. I'd also recommend a Google Map. We would say this is essential for people that aren't operating in a virtual firm, that do want to give away their physical address or attract local clients, because if you embed a Google Map onto your site, it links to your Google business listing, and it can help your search engine ranking as well. So there's a couple of benefits there of putting a Google Map on. Your web team should be able to help you with that, but if you don't have a web team, or feel free to reach out to BizInc and we can help you get that up there as well. So it's really good to help people to find you, and it has that a bonus there of if you use your business listing, it can improve your ranking in Google. So that's what we see as a simple but winning content structure. So that's what we've seen to work best. Hopefully this is what you have. Hopefully you knew that. Hopefully it's on your site already. But we've found that those simple sites tend to work the best. So just to recover that, that's a home page, an about page, or a team page, and services. Maybe you can add some depth with a blog, expert content, or partner content. So I just wanted to go into now some things that you can put on your website to turn it from just being a website that's like everyone else's. That winning structure I went over before, you've probably seen that before. So you might see that on other people's sites. So what can you do to be different? I also wanted to cover that you can use your website as a marketing tool. So what can you do to turn it into a tool that's getting you leads? And that's where I'll talk about lead magnets. So there's an alarming fact that most visitors to a bookkeeping website won't get in touch. They'll never get in touch with you. And that's probably the experience for most of you. You probably already knew that. That's just the nature of the profession. Sorry there. Get my screen back. Sorry about that. And the reason that most people won't get in touch with you is because people procrastinate and they take a long time to make that decision and to engage a bookkeeper. And that's quite understandable because switching bookkeepers isn't a quick decision. That's not an impulse buy. You don't have an e-commerce site like Amazon. It's a very different type of site here. So people you need to try and get them to get in touch with you. So that's part of that call to action as well that we spoke about before. But also to get people to get in, turn people from website traffic into people that are getting in touch with you and getting engaged, you need to use a lead magnet. So a lead magnet is an exchange of value. So you give away something valuable on your site in return for something else valuable. So it's an exchange of value there. So we suggest you give away some content on your website in return for a visitor's email address. So that's super valuable to a bookkeeper if you're going to engage in email marketing or to follow that up, because once you have their email address, then you have permission to keep talking to them. And just to quickly mention about anti-spam laws, we usually get this question when we're talking about this. A lead magnet is the perfect example of getting their permission to email to them, to get in touch with them as well. So if you have their permission, keep talking to them. That means that when they're ready to engage a bookkeeper, you can be top of mind. So it's important to, once you have that email address, to be keeping in touch though. Obviously you're not going to be pushy or selling too hard, but just keep in touch with them. So I wanted to give you an example of a lead magnet. Here we've got one here. This is from the homepage of one of our client sites. So we've created this business plan course, which includes a free business plan template. And so a prospect will come to their website, see this on the homepage. They can put in their email address quickly there, as you can see, and then they get a 7-part course and template. We know that that's really popular with small business owners. I think that's one of the most searched for terms by small business owners across the world, actually. So business owners, they need a plan. They want a business plan, but they want a template for it because it's not super simple for them to do. So most of them will turn to Google for that. And there's a good value exchange going on here, as we mentioned, with a lead magnet being an exchange of value. So the bookkeeper gets an email address and the business owner gets valuable content that's going to help them in their business. So yet again, it's going back to building trust and credibility, which we said at the beginning was so important. So this is just another way you can do that on your website. So make sure though, once you have their email address, as I mentioned, that you're talking to them. So the marketing word for this is nurturing the lead until they're sales ready. So people buy when they want to buy. They're not going to come to your site and buy immediately. Well, rarely, not too often, not too many people will do that. And with bookkeeping, it could be a waiting game. As I said, it's not an impulse purchase. So it could be 3 months before they're ready to engage. Could be 6 months, could be 2 years, and that's why having that email address is so valuable. So send them some more valuable content and information over time. Yeah, don't be too pushy with it, but do keep in touch with them. And often just seeing your name pop up keeps your bookkeeping firm top of mind. And if they're associating you with quality content that's helping them, that you helped them with their business plan, well, again, that's building credibility. So we'd really recommend getting a lead magnet onto your site. So offer a piece of content to your audience in return for an email address. So design, it's probably less important as you think, as I mentioned earlier on. Obviously, I don't mean you want to have a shabby, poor-looking website, not at all. But we do see firms spend a lot of time and a lot of money on design and not enough on a good structure or content or a lead magnet. So like, we all have limited design to get a website done, right? So don't splash that all on the design element. It's pretty easy to get a good looking website done that doesn't cost too much nowadays. So if you have extra money, I'd just say put it into marketing and into content rather so much than design, because you can get great websites done for not as much money nowadays. So I wanted to quickly talk about website essentials as well. Mobile friendliness is one of them. That's essential now. And the reason for that is if your website isn't mobile friendly and somebody searches on their mobile, you won't appear in Google, because Google will block you from the, they won't show you your website as one of the options, the search results, if you don't have a mobile friendly site and somebody is searching on mobile. And that's really bad, because over 50% of searches in Google are from mobile now. So it's really important to have a mobile friendly website. If you're not mobile friendly, you just don't exist to them as an option. You don't come up as an option on a mobile device if you're not mobile friendly. So be sure to get that out. There is a way to check. You can search in Google mobile friendly test, and you can put in your site there and it'll check it for you. Or you can get BizInc website audit, which is one of the freebies we're offering for today. I'll talk about that at the end though, and we'll check that for you. That's part of one of the things we check. So if you do fail that though, if you fail the test and you're not mobile friendly, I really, really urge you to go and get a mobile-friendly website, because with more and more business being done on mobile, with more and more searches being done on mobile, it's really important. So it's much easier to get a new mobile-friendly website than trying to retrofit mobile friendliness onto an old design as well. So this comes standard on all of BizInc's websites. We use something called responsive design, which getting a bit technical, but it adjusts to the screen size you're on. So whether that be a desktop, an iPad, tablet, or a mobile phone. So that's standard. That should be pretty well standard on any website platform now though as well. So make sure you get that one. Wanted to quickly talk about security as well. So this is the other part of the essentials, these key ingredients that I said you need on your website. And the reason I'm talking about this again is because of Google. So they've changed it as well. I think it was a couple of years ago now that they've made it a requirement for basically a requirement for you to have a secure certificate on your website. So again, it gets a bit technical, but it's called an SSL certificate. And having one on your site means that the traffic between you and the website you're visiting is encrypted, which that's a good thing. So the change is that Google will show not secure next to your web address if you don't have a secure certificate on the front and back of your website. So I wanted to show you how that looks. You've probably seen some kind of error message like this before. Obviously you can see I've blurred out the guilty there, but the rest of the web address would appear at the top there. So it'll show not secure, it'll show a big warning. Obviously, this is not a great look to visitors coming to your site, especially in the industry you're in. Bookkeepers, you're dealing with people's personal finances, so you definitely don't want people to think that your website is not secure. I did just want to mention, though, that the actual security risk of, like it says here, details being hacked, because of not having this is actually not that high, but this is the message that Google displays. So you just don't want that to come up at all. And SSL certificates aren't that expensive, and that again comes standard on BizInc's websites because we're across all of these requirements by Google. So super easy to sort that one out as well. And again, it comes back to trust and credibility in your industry. As a bookkeeper, you don't want to be sending this message out that you're not trustworthy, that they might be getting hacked from visiting your site. So even though the risk isn't particularly high of that happening, definitely get it sorted as well. So reporting and testing. The web gives us an unprecedented amount of reporting and tools and information about how our marketing is performing. So we should be using that data to refine and improve our marketing, and we can with the tools that are out there. So the first tool I wanted to talk about was Google Analytics. This is a free tool, actually. Probably a lot of you might have this linked up already to your site, but if not, you can get a free account really quickly and easily. So this is quite a huge topic, but I would say that for reporting and testing, Google Analytics is the basic minimum reporting tool, and it's actually hugely powerful, the amount of insights that you can get out of that. So again, we can connect that for you at BizInc with your site, and you can get all of those insights, and you might see a particular page is performing really well or not so well, and you can adjust your marketing for that as well. So the web really is giving us a huge amount of tools, and we'd recommend Google Analytics as a minimum, have that connected to your site, and BizInc can help you with that as well. And it's a great way to test, to refine, to adjust your marketing. So the final thing I wanted to talk about is tools and extras. And these are just those apps and add-ons I said that can take your site to the next level as well. They can give your site a bit of a boost. So the first is appointment booking app. So you might have seen this if you go to the BizInc site anyway, bizinconline.com. You can book a demo that'll show exactly what I'm talking about here with appointment booking apps. So you might have used these before as well on other sites. Common examples are Calendly, Acuity, and Timely. You can integrate them into your site. So bizinconline.com, you click book a demo, you'll see it pops up an app where you can choose times to talk to somebody in our team. And as a side note, if you want to learn more about our websites, that's exactly how you do it anyway. So head there and see what I mean, and if you're interested, you can book a demo. That was a really amazing thing to add to our site as well. When we did it, the amount of demos that got booked through the site went up by 1/3, just because we made it easier for people to book a demo with us. I'll send some links in the email for Calendly, Acuity, and Timely so you can check them more out. But it also had a bit of an unexpected benefit as well. It reduced our admin time, because obviously you would have all experienced it when you're trying to book a time with somebody to talk and you're going back and forth by email. Maybe does Wednesday afternoon suit you? Or no, I can do Thursday, or that doesn't work for me. You're going back and forth. So it reduces that admin time a fair bit as well, which was a great benefit for us. So they can just go in there and choose the time that suits them. It's fairly straightforward and a great addition. As one of those calls to action that I mentioned earlier, that could be a great option as well. Have that in the on the home page at the top banner or at the bottom, wherever you want it. That can be another great call to action as well. Next, I wanted to talk about live chat, which I briefly mentioned earlier. It might not be for everyone, but I have seen it work well. It's usually like in the bottom right-hand side of a website. It's more of like a messenger option. You can see this on bizinconline.com as well. We use Zendesk chat. But people do often have some reservations about it. Mainly that they don't want to man it all the time. But if you are at your desk all the time or the majority of the time and it's just sitting there open, it probably won't be a problem to respond to the inquiries coming through. You're not going to suddenly get heaps of messages through it. It really shouldn't be unmanageable. But some of we're talking about great bookkeeping websites, and some of the great sites we've seen do have this on there. So that's a little extra you might like to add as well. So some options are Zendesk Chat, OLAC, or Visita. So I can send links to those as well. And if you're in a bigger firm, this could be a great option anyway, because you might have a receptionist who's answering phones or answering emails. Why not have this other form of communication as well? And it's just like a simple messenger system as well. So super easy to set up and to use. So that could be an option. So I'll quickly sum up just to go over what we've spoken about, and then we can get to some questions. So we've got a fair bit of time for questions as well. So the recipe for a great bookkeeping website has 2 essentials: a mobile friendliness and secure certificate. So Google has made these a requirement, but it is a good thing. It's going to result in sites that are easier to use because they're mobile friendly. And it's also going to result in increased security. So these are the essentials because of Google, basically, but it is going to be a good thing overall. So these come standard on BizInc sites, and they should come standard on most modern website platforms as well. So design. Don't spend all your budget on design. Content and marketing, particularly like a lead magnet, is more important than a super over-the-top fancy design. Obviously, we're not saying get a bad design, but a good design is not that expensive. So less is more. Across the site, this is less is more. Simplicity is important. So you're going to sell when you talk to people. You're going to sell through conversations, through meetings. Don't look at your website as an e-commerce site like Amazon, as I mentioned. You're a bookkeeper, and your site is going to be very different. So try and keep it simple. Try and demonstrate expertise, though. Don't get too technical, and just try and let people get in touch with you. Make that the focus. So that leads to my next point of making it stupidly easy to get in touch with you. You want a phone number on every page. You want a contact button. Maybe you could have a booking app, as I just mentioned, or a live chat option. People like to get in touch with you in the way that they prefer. So whether that be email, whether that be phone, whether that be a messenger or a live chat option. Lead magnets. So very few people will get in touch with you, even if you do make it easy. So you want to turn those visitors into clients. And as I mentioned, it's the nature of the profession to not have people getting in touch with you straight away. So that's not because your website's particularly bad, or not because even your firm is bad. It's just the nature of how people buy. It's the nature of how people engage bookkeepers. So they take a while to make a decision. They take some time. They procrastinate. So you want to get their details, keep talking to them, and stay top of mind when they are ready to purchase. So BizInc has a couple of options for lead magnets as well that we can help you out with there. I've just seen a question come in about that as well. So head to bizinconline.com and check out client converters. That's what we've called our lead magnet product at the moment. So you can see that. So basically, with lead magnets, you want to get their details, keep talking to them, and stay top of mind so that when they are ready to purchase, it's you that they're thinking of. So test and refine. The web gives us a ton of opportunities to see how our marketing is performing. Use this data to keep improving your site. So Google Analytics, as I mentioned, is one of the great tools to do that. And lastly, apps that can add value once the basics are done. So I briefly just mentioned appointment booking apps and live chat as options. So those aren't essentials, but they do have some great benefits. So we have a special offer for all of you attendees. I'll quickly go through this before we jump into the questions. So if you sign up for a website with us at BizInc before December 31st, you receive free email marketing and a monthly newsletter written for you. So that's usually $199 per month, Australian. I also was going to mention this website audit. So this is a lot of the stuff we've covered today, we cover in the website audit and a bit more. So we'll head to the link on screen and put in your details there, and we'll review your current website. We'll give you some suggestions for how to improve it. We'll assess if it's mobile friendly or not, and give you some feedback on that there. So you can also book a demo with our team as well, and we'll show you more about how our websites work. So any questions you have about our particular websites or anything at all that we've covered today, book a demo and we can talk to you there. We do have websites specifically for bookkeepers that come with mobile friendliness and security standard. We also have blogging that we include in some of our website packs as well. So I think that's about all for me. If we're ready to head to some questions.
Yeah, that's really fantastic, Anthea. I enjoyed that, and there's a lot of stuff I didn't know about how to build a website, especially that security stuff, which is really interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for taking us through that. I hope everybody else enjoyed that as much as I did. As you mentioned, we do have a couple of questions coming in. You kind of answered one here from Michelle around lead magnets for writing the business plan. Was that just did you have some resources online, did you mention?
Yeah, I can't just remember off the top of my head which one I screenshotted that from, the website that she wanted to quickly look at, but I will find out and I'll send the link to you guys in the email afterwards. But
Sure.
You can find some more information if you go to bizinconline.com, and you can look at client converters. So that's one of our options, is the business plan. We also have one on learning zero in 7 days. So we've got a couple of options there, or we can customize one for you. So just head to the client converters. Yep.
Cool. I imagine you'd have some good content on your website. I think it's kind of your thing.
Yep.
Now, Susan's asked about the live chat apps, and do you get contact details from the live chat app? I assume that means how much information you collect from a visitor on the live chat.
From what I've experienced, I think you can ask for it. It probably kind of depends, I guess, on the program as well, or what you set up. But I might get some more information on that and get back to you about that as well, just so don't say the wrong thing there. Yeah.
I also don't want to say the wrong thing. I know we've used live chat apps here at Practice Ignition, and there is a point where people just won't use it if they have to drop in too much information. So there is a bit of a balance there in my experience.
Yeah. Yep.
Marianne's asked, what program do you use for lead magnets?
We use, for the emails, we set you up with Campaign Monitor. That comes standard as part of it as well. Yep.
Okay, cool. Campaign Monitor. Yep. Excellent. That's the list. The end of the questions for now. So if you do have any more questions, now is the time to ask while you've got Anthea here on the line. I've got a couple here as well, if that's okay, if you don't mind. Just some of my own personal ones that I've written down since I've been listening. The call to actions on a page. This is something that I've spoken to with my own marketing team before. I understand you shouldn't have too many call to actions. What's your thoughts on how many call to actions per page, or is there any rules around the number of call to actions you should have on a page or a website?
I'm not sure there's a specific rule so much. Obviously, you don't want to overcrowd the website, but you do want to let people get in touch with you in the way that they prefer. So just back to that example we showed, there was about 3 before you even scroll down on the homepage. So 3, 4, 5 maybe would be the general number I give there. Definitely a phone number though for people to get in touch. Yeah.
Awesome. Another one here, which I don't think you went into too much detail during the demo, but it comes up a lot, is Google rankings. And I think you mentioned mobile optimization is big for Google rankings.
Mm-hmm.
But what about sort of SEO in general, search engine optimization, for those who don't know what that is? And how can BizInc help with that, I guess, is the next question.
Yeah, so SEO, search engine optimization, so that's the process of improving your ranking in Google. And this is quite a big topic, especially we find with accountants and bookkeepers. They seem to be quite obsessed with it a little bit. I think it's because it's a bit of a Google algorithm thing, and they want to try and, you know, crack the code or something. It's not quite so easy. But yeah, it is a huge topic, and there is quite a bit of disagreement out there about what will and what won't work. But we definitely would suggest getting the basics sorted. So first you can it's what's called your Google My Business listing. So get yourself set up on that and use the Google map I spoke about. You pull that from there, so that can rank help your ranking as well. Also, you don't really optimize your website per se. You optimize pages on your website. And you optimize them for a certain phrase. So if you think about the way that people use Google, they might search for bookkeepers in their local area. So having a page based on your city or town, obviously big cities are going to be harder, like Sydney, but if you have a page of bookkeepers Wanaka, that's where my boss is from, but have a page where that is the title, have that phrase in the link, have that phrase mentioned several times in the content, and fit your page to the phrase that people are using, and that will give you a chance to rank better. And the other thing you'll want is to have lots of people linking to your site as well. So that's why social media works really well for search engines. You want to also see if you can get listed in like an online directory. So that's somebody else linking back to your site. And Google sees that then, oh, people are linking to this site. This is trustworthy site, credible site. So it's obviously a hugely technical topic. But it's probably not quite as important as you think. We'd say that once you get those basics sorted, it's better to do like marketing or have a lead magnet or do something on social media with that linking back as well, because often that can deliver better results. So we know you've got, you know, limited time and limited budget, so SEO probably isn't going to get you the best results. I'm talking once you've got those basics sorted.
Yeah, I think that's interesting. I've looked at a few webinars just on SEO, and it is an absolute minefield.
Yep.
And yeah, like you said, like it's surprisingly easy to set up a website these days. Just having the basic stuff won't take you as long as it used to, you know, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. So that's really cool. Another one that I've just sort of written down as you were speaking around blogging. Where does a blog sit within a website? I've seen people who have their blog as their main website front page because I don't know, maybe they think because it changes all the time, it helps with rankings. What's your thoughts around where a blog, how much prominence a blog should have on your website?
On BizInc websites, we probably would have it, you know, you can find it in the top menu, like on the top bar there. Probably wouldn't have it so much being the main on the homepage, but I do know on some of our sites we have it, you know, if you scroll down on the homepage, you can see the latest article on the blog. So, yeah, as you say, it's a good way to keep your site updated, but there's, a place for it on the website. Probably not the homepage,
Yeah, that's right. I just always thought that was a bit odd, but definitely not front and center.
Yeah.
Terrific. Okay, well, I don't have any more questions from myself. I don't see any more coming in at the moment. So is there anything else, Anthea, that you'd like to cover off today?
I think that's pretty much all, but if anybody has any more questions, please book a demo or go to the link on screen and get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to answer any more.
Terrific. That's great. Well, look, let's wrap it up there unless there's anything else coming through. As mentioned, we have been recording this session, so you should get that shortly, as well as the slides and any resources as well. So thank you, everyone, for coming in today. Anthea, thank you so much for your time, and we appreciate it. And we look forward to the next webinar.
Yeah, thanks so much for having us along. It was great.
Take care. Bye now.
Bye.